On my last World Cup video, all that time ago, we were looking at a chunk of the second round in African qualifying, including that lovely finish from Mia of Uganda. This time we're back in Asia for match day 9, and we'll begin with the weirdest story. Over in Group B at the Amman International Stadium, as Jordan took on Bangladesh with their brand new coach, Harry Redknapp. And his new players were keen to impress as they took the lead after only 7 minutes through Eldar Dor. It became 2-0 after 23 minutes when Eldar Dor nabbed his second goal. And not long later, Jordan got themselves a penalty. Don't know how, but it was scored by Deeb in the 29th minute. 4 minutes later and Redknapp's men were running rampant as Al Rawashdah made it 4-0. There was still time in the first half for Eldar Dor to nab his hat-trick, which he gladly took in the 40th minute. In the second half it was more of the same, Faisal making it 6-0 to Jordan in the 63rd minute. The best was yet to come as in the 82nd minute Al Naber scored a wonderful and cheeky back heel. In injury time, Bangladesh conceded another penalty. This one we got to see how they conceded it. It was converted by Samir, rounding off a resounding 8-0 victory in Harry Redknapp's first game in charge of Jordan. Elsewhere in the group, Australia were taking on Tajikistan at the Adelaide Oval. And it didn't take Australia very long at all to take control of the game, as Massimo Luongo gave Australia the lead after only 3 minutes. The game was barely 10 minutes old when the Tajikistani goalkeeper conceded a penalty. Mila Jedinak stepped up to take it and scored after 12 minutes. In the second half, Australia got themselves a second penalty after a pullback in the box. This time it was Milligan that stepped up to take it, and it was the same result in the 57th minute. 10 minutes later and Australia continued scoring. This time it was Nathan Burns tapping in from close range. 4-0 quickly became 5-0 as Australia turned up the pressure. Gianu thought he'd scored the goal, but it turns out it was Rogic's first shot that went in, as the replay showed, after 70 minutes. Rogic's second goal was a little more clear-cut as he scored 2 minutes later to make it 6-0. The scoring was completed for Australia 3 minutes from time when Nathan Burns headed in from close range. The final score, Australia 7, Tajikistan 0. Due to suspension to Kuwait, the only game in Group G took place at the Ansanwa Stadium as South Korea took on Lebanon. Lee Jung-hyuk was the hero as he slotted home the only goal of the game for South Korea in injury time. Group D now, and Iran were taking on India at the Azadi Stadium in Tehran. A WWE-style knee to the face gave Iran a penalty in the first half. Harshafi converted it on 33 minutes to give Iran a 1-0 lead. We had to wait until the 61st minute for another goal as Azmoun made it 2-0 to Iran. We had another penalty 5 minutes later as a handball this time gave it away. Again it was Harshafi taking it though, and it was scored with ease. In the 78th minute the score became 4-0 as Jahan Baksh ran down the wing, came into the area and took a shot and scored. And that was that. Iran win 4-0. It was time to say goodbye to Guam at the Sultan Qaboos Sports Complex in Muscat as they travelled to Oman for their final game before they were eliminated. And they held firm for most of the game, only conceding to Mubarak in the 53rd minute. The final score, Oman 1, Guam 0. C now, and we begin there with China taking on the Maldives at the Wuhan Sports Center Stadium in Wuhan. China opened the scoring in the second minute through Jiang Ning. China scored again 10 minutes later with a wonderful team goal, finished off by Yang Zhu after 12 minutes. From then on, China took their foot off the pedal a bit, but didn't stop scoring, and in the 84th minute, Jiang Ning scored his second. And Jiang Ning was not finished there. He only went and got himself a hat-trick with a screamer in injury time to finish off an easy 4-0 win for China. Meanwhile, over at the Jassim bin Hamad Stadium in Doha, Qatar were facing Hong Kong, who managed to hold out until the 20th minute when Al Haidos gave Qatar the lead. Late in the second half, the 2022 World Cup hosts were at it again, as Syria gave Qatar a 2-0 lead on 87 minutes, and that is how the game finished. As it would have been Indonesia's matchday off, we got two matches for a change in Group F. The first of them was Iraq against Thailand, which took place at the PAS Stadium in Tehran, Iran, due to security reasons. Thailand would be the team taking the lead on 39 minutes through Mongkol, before Iraq would get an equaliser in the 66th minute through Kamel. Thailand thought they'd stole the game late on when Adisak poked home from a few feet away in the 86th minute. But those celebrations lasted only around 8 minutes, as deep into injury time, Iraq equalised through Adnan. The final score, Iraq 2, Thailand 2. Group F's other game saw Vietnam take on Chinese Taipei at the Maidin National Stadium in Hanoi, and the Vietnamese crowd were disappointed to find that it would be Chinese Taipei taking the lead in the 7th minute through Wu Chunqing. Luckily for the crowd, the home team were given the opportunity to equalise straight away thanks to some bad defending. Lee Kong-ving volleying home a brilliant goal. After that, it was all one-way traffic for the Vietnamese, Nguyen Van Thuan scoring on 29 minutes to make it 2-1. Just before half-time, Nguyen Van Thuan got his second goal when he broke free and made it 3-1 to Vietnam. In the second half, it seemed like the scoring had stopped. However, Lee Kong-ving had other ideas and he got his second goal, giving Vietnam a 4-1 win overall in injury time. We were back at the Saitama Stadium in 2002 for Group E's game between Japan and Afghanistan. Japan took the lead when Shinya Okazaki danced through the Afghan defence on 43 minutes. And while the home side only managed one goal in the first half, it was a different matter in the second half, as Kiyotaki made it 2-0 on 58 minutes, and was quickly followed by an own goal from Mohammed on 63 minutes. On 74 minutes, Maya Yoshida rose the highest on a corner to give Japan a 4-0 lead. 4 minutes later, Japan scored their final goal, the last touch coming somewhere here from Kanazaki. The final score 5-0 to Japan. And despite all their troubles at home, Japan's main rivals in Group E is Syria, who took on Cambodia at the Al Seeb Stadium in Seeb, Oman due to security concerns. They opened the scoring via Cribben on 7 minutes. And Cribben added to his total not long later, getting on the end of this low cross in the 19th minute to give Syria a 2-0 lead. That was all for Cribben, but not for Syria. They had more goals in them, and Kalasi scored in the 57th minute, making it 3-0. Later on in the second half, it became 4-0, an own goal from Makara in the 70th minute. 10 minutes later and we had another goal. This time it was Al Hussein scoring it for Syria, 5-0 at the time. The Syrian goal scoring was completed in the 84th minute when Malki scored a rebound. The final score, not for the first time, was Syria 6, Cambodia 0. The last time Malaysia took on Saudi Arabia, the game was called off due to crowd trouble. This time they were at King Abdullah Sports City in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, for the return game. Mohamed Al Salawi, the top goal scorer so far in the competition, added to his tally in the 50th minute to give Saudi Arabia a 1-0 lead. In the 74th minute, Saudi Arabia were able to make it 2-0, Al Jassim scoring from an acute angle. The final score, Saudi Arabia 2, Malaysia 0. And so we headed over to Group A's other game, as the United Arab Emirates took on Palestine at the Mohammed bin Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. The UAE scored the game's opening goal on 33 minutes, a brilliantly well-worked goal from Al Hamadi. That goal was set up by Khalil. He managed to get himself on the score sheet on 60 minutes with a penalty, which I don't know how they won, but they scored the penalty, cheekily, and the final score was 2-0 to United Arab Emirates. The last group we'll be looking at today is Group H, and top seeds Uzbekistan took on the Philippines at the Bunyadkor Stadium in Tashkent. Only one goal in the game, it was scored by Ismailov in 59 minutes, and they celebrated with style. And so we end the video at the Bahrain National Stadium in Riffa as Bahrain took on Yemen, and the home side started well, gaining themselves a penalty after half an hour. The penalty was converted on 32 minutes by Abdulatif. The score became 2-0 on 63 minutes when Al Maloub scored an absolute screamer. Bahrain rounded off the scoring in second half injury time with a superb solo goal from Al Romahini. The final score was Bahrain 3, Yemen 0. We'll have the final match day in the second round in Asia soon, but before that I'll do North America and South America's latest matches. Keep watching, like and subscribe.